I have. I say bits and pieces a lot. I say let's see what's going to happen a lot. Or, there's a couple of other things I say a lot as well. What else do I say? There's a few things I say, quite a few times. Well, quite regularly in my casts. I try to zone them out and use them a little bit less. If you guys ever notice one that you think I use too much, I'd like to hear it, because, yeah, I always try to, you know, make the casting a bit more interesting, and changing up your vocabulary a bit more is obviously a way to do that. So let's kick this off, and let's see what happens. We have the red Zerg, bottom right-hand side. This is Bly. I don't think we did intros. I think I said who the players were, but not actually, you know, the proper intros that are so accustomed to the StarCraft 2 matches. Top left-hand side, the Blue Protoss player from Cascade is DnS. Okay then, guys, we are continuing to just monster our way through this bracket at the moment. Finally, we're catching up, and I mean, I say finally, we're 7 hours into the broadcast, and we are just about coming up to 7 hours into the broadcast. We're finally in the second winner bracket qualifying match of the day. Mana was the first player to qualify out of this qualifier, now either joined by DnS or Bly, and then we have the lower bracket to continue with, and we're going to try and see what happens in that lower bracket as we move along and move through to help us out and to see kind of who goes where, who ends up doing what, see if we even manage to finish it tonight, because we could be here for a long, long time still, because we are still, like, some sections of that bracket are still 5, 6 best of 3s away from being concluded. So getting ready to go into this, we're going to be seeing the Stargate opener once again from DnS. Obviously, we got to see a bit of his PvZ just before. It's the first time we see Bly today, I believe. We did cast a little tiny amount of him earlier. We followed him into one of his matches, and we saw a little bit of him. I don't think it was anything too crazy. I think he was using mutas. It was like 7 hours ago, so forgive me for not being completely aware of what exactly it was. I have forgotten a little bit. But, yeah, let's see how this goes. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this kicks off over the next few moments on Backwater, which is a nice little slow one for the initial, the next few moments. Circling up into the main base, and Bly gonna be coming along here to try and just see what he can get up to. Gonna do some loops and turns. Obviously, the Adept will come in and try and defend. The Probe is going to go survive. I mean, the Probe can turn and fight and win this fight, so Probe shouldn't die here no matter what. Across the map, though, that's the more important Adepts. 2 drones killed already, and with the Shade potential, either gets out of here alive, or he gets into the main base for more damage. It looks as though he'll go for the main. Probably cancel, actually sit here, and then just Shade again this time, maybe out. Or he just trades out with the Zerglings. Adept's just going to sit there for now, because Bly's not going to run his Lings in towards that kind of death trap. Obviously, it's just a choke point where the Adepts are going to have a great time. They look around here. They're going to commit here. No. Says if there's a Queen there, don't want to fight. I'll just sit on the third base. Stop you sending drones over here already. This time the Queen comes over, and so we're just going to see the fight anyway. Oh, that was cute. Just moving the Adepts around to maximize their potential. Oracle's coming around to hit the main base initially. Those Adepts do commit around. They find themselves 2 more drone kills, and the Zerglings are still going down. DnS has some insane micro so far. There's free, and he's going to get maybe 1 more drone. Just makes the Spore Crawler pearl. Wow, such a fast cancel as well just then. As we all know, now going to be seeing the Oracle coming forwards. We're just going to be seeing the Oracle. Not really actually finding much just yet. The Lings will get across the map to see if they can do anything themselves. As DnS not going to go double Stargate like he did in a previous game. Just going to go for the Phoenix as a follow-up from that single Oracle. And the War Prism, Templar Archives, and Charge already on the way up. So going into this one here, let's see what DnS can come up with. Let's see how aggressive he might be, because so far no third Nexus just yet. And obviously we want a map where the third Nexus comes very easily in a lot of scenarios. Of course, these players are very likely to change up their builds between matchups, and specifically, or not between matches, but in the same matchup, but between players. I should say between matches. And that's because, you know, a lot of these guys play each other on the EU ladder a lot, so they're going to be very aware of how certain players play, and they might very well know, oh, well, my build does very badly against what this guy likes to do, or the last time, or last few times I tried this specific build that worked last time on, you know, Namshar against Bly, he was very good against it. So there's a lot of kind of information in the players' heads going into deciding on build orders and bits and pieces here. Two Zealots and Adept coming out through the center of the map, and just going to be seeing what's happening. With a creep still spreading through. There's actually such a small attack force. Is he really going to commit? The Stasis Ward will get just one drone. Nice of him to pull some drones away, of course. Okay, now the other units are backing away. Maybe just waiting for the Prism. The two Archons are already here. We're on full gate, so it's not super aggressive. We're expecting to see the Nexus soon, but the Phoenix had to kill off the Overlord because there was creep spread blocking it. Oh my god, so many Queens, but DnS paying enough attention to turn away from that. That's nice turn. Wow, he has 6 gates. How did I not see that? I saw 4 and I didn't see the 2 gateways. My bad. I just saw it incorrectly, as we're going to be seeing these couple of Archons and Zealots charging forwards. We are going to be seeing a couple of Hydras pushing forwards. I mean, these Queens are taking some damage already. Oh my god! These Queens are taking a ton of damage, actually. The Queen's going down quite quickly. Hydras continue to come up, but if he turns around here, those drones are stacked for the Archons. Doesn't find much more, and he can't warp in here because the Hydras and the Queens are too close to targeting down the War Prism. So Archons drop, 6 more Zealots warp in. I mean, that first attack was a success. I don't mind the idea of going back in for more. It can definitely work out, because obviously Bly doesn't even have as many Queens as last time. And those are the tanky units here. The Hydras are going to absolutely melt if Zealots and Archons go on top. You can see him trying to put the Queens in front. Zealots get a good surround. The one transfuse available comes down. The Archons might run forwards. You can see that Bly's in trouble. He's pulling drones into this. And DnS kills 8 drones. He loses one of the 2 Archons, but I mean, still a Zealot here. These Hydras are still going down. Oh, warp in. DnS takes it. He just doesn't quite get the warp in. He loses an Archon now, but 10 drones killed, still good. DnS gambled a little bit there, but it didn't quite work out. Guys, we are completely live right here if you're watching on the evening of Monday, the 9th of April. It's 11:43 p.m. in Europe. 10:43 p.m. here for Wardy time, UK time. What's up, Probe in the chat? How you doing? I'm here for SC2, just to very quickly answer your question. Am I getting paid for doing this WCS stuff? I get paid for casting. I don't get paid for casting Challenger qualifiers. I just get to do it on my own stream, so I get to make money off my usual kind of stream revenue. Subs, donations, and the rest of it. A few more meters on the way up at the moment. Going to see an Archon. It's about to be finishing. Feeling it's going to be up to the top side. We are going to be seeing meters coming across the left-hand side as well. Obviously, Bly is something that he always likes to do. It's one of the reasons he struggled a bit against that attack, throwing resources into the Spire and trying to be a bit greedy and go straight up to Mutas. And Bly does love his Mutalist-based play, and so far, going well. Phoenix production is started up, though, from DnS to try and help out. Storm completely misses every Mutalist there. This one's a bit better, but he's storming his own probes as well, and that's painful. 16 probes down, High Templar's being chased around. Phoenix here now. This is the nice part, though, for DnS. Those Mutas are already low because of the storms, so while he did lose a little bit, he is going to clean up the majority of the Mutas already. And just with the 2 Phoenix, more Mutas on the way. A couple of Stalkers did stop attacking his own Nexus, and this is going to be a chase down for the last couple of Mutalist kills. Although, again, more Mutas coming through, and so killing off Mutas is really nice if there's going to be more Mutas in production, because it almost feels as though you're keeping the Mutas at a manageable amount, and you know, never cleaning them up to kind of free up the side. It's kind of a weird one. It is kind of a weird one. Anyways, Mutas coming back up to the top side, and we are going to see the Zealot from DnS. Just going to be moving through here, and Lings and Hydras from Bly coming along. You are going to be having a few Hydras just sat up top of the third base, and this Zealot will get taken down, +2 attack on the Forge coming through, and Immortal being chrono boosted out as well. Lings and Hydras still gathering on this watchtower. More units coming back over to the left-hand side, and we are going to be, again, a few more Zealots and Archon coming up as well. So all of these units from DnS continue to gather themselves up, and we're going to be seeing a couple of these Banelings just getting caught before they morph, and Bly just cancels them. He doesn't care. He's not going to commit to it. I really feel as though Bly fell very behind with that first attack, and yes, the Mutas got a bit of something done, but they're not keeping DnS at home like they really need to give Bly more time to set up into all the rest of it. Bly's missing upgrades. He's missing Baneling speed. He's missing the Lurker Den. As well, if that comes up, it gets better for him, but obviously that takes a little while. Alright, just going to start working the way through those rocks down the low ground. Obviously, for Bly, he wants those nice wide pathways to roll as many Banelings up as he can. I guess the pathways being narrower kind of help his lurkers out, but in general it's probably more useful to be able to maneuver around more easily. Surprised he hasn't taken down these rocks as well just yet, but maybe that's on his planned kind of to-do list once he gets rid of this watchtower control of the Protoss player. He's splitting his hiders up in two directions. Lurker Den finishes shortly. I mean, is he really going to try and bait out a fight before then? Well, I guess we'll see how well DnS is going to split up his own army. The Mutas aren't a thing anymore, right? There is a few of them, 7, but they're just sat at home. They're not doing anything at all at the moment. As we do see Hydras and Banes going to come in from the right, a few Hydras from the south. It's just not enough to really be scary, though. Especially with the cannon setup, there's no way you break this 4th base. And so DnS is just going to keep on sitting back, and no reason to kind of push on forwards. 15 more Mutas, oh my god. Wow. Well, 15 more Mutalists coming up here. Let's see what happens as a lot of those Hydras get gathered together. I mean, this is the issue, right? For DnS's point of view, he doesn't know if Bly's going to make 15 more Mutas, and suddenly he does. You're not prepared for 15 more Mutas. He's got 3 Phoenix. You know, the 7 Archons are nice, but they're not mobile enough to really fight Mutas. If he pushes right now, it could be good for him, because then he can force the Mutas to maybe fight, and he's not going to be able to kind of harass for too long and get something done in that regard. So let's see what happens. We see those lurkers on the way up, getting ready to go. 4 of them on the way. A few extra Banes being added in as well. A lot of Mutalisks coming up to the top side of the map right now, as we are going to be seeing Archons and Immortals. High Templar too, gathering up dead center of the map. Cells get found by Hydras. A good moment or two for Bly, honestly. In fact, a really good couple of moments for Bly. Because now the Mutas fly into the main base, and the Phoenix are like, oh, that's not good. The Fleet Beacon, which is just being built, is going to go down because it's on the side of the base. No Anti-Impulse Crystals for me. And at least he keeps the Stargates up for now. I'm not sure how long he really will, because, well, those pylons could definitely get attacked. Oh, he's going to recall into the main, but the Muta's just going to dive down here. Smart by DnS. Only recalls half of his army, so the rest of it is still nearby enough to actually get something done. It's a huge investment from Bly, right? It's a lot of money he builds to get this many Mutas, but he's already buying himself so much time. He's already getting himself a whole ton of probes. These Phoenix are going to be flying away a little bit, kind of pulling backwards away from those Mutas. Mutas need to keep on gathering up together, and, well, just going to be seeing what else they can do. But they've bought Bly so much time, like an eternity already, it feels like. DnS's fighting army is still strong, right? So in a straight-up fight, DnS can definitely still take a good trade. He just needs to make sure his units aren't getting stuck anywhere. I'm a little bit afraid, like, maybe Archons are stuck behind cannons and pylons and so on, and that might hurt him kind of as the game goes by. Love this warping over here, but Lings are so quick to come to it. It's a nice idea. Distract the Zerg player. Stop him from controlling this game, because that's exactly what's going on at the moment. As you're going to see the Banes helping to explode there, and, well, that Warpism is not being pulled away. The Mutas are still fighting. There's Archon or 2 coming in. The Phoenix kind of a lot better now. Anti-Impulse Crystals is still not quite there, though. I mean, this is the thing, even when these Mutas go down, look at how many Phoenix he's forced. I mean, Phoenix, you know, they can be useful in the fights, but they're not like, oh my god, he's got Phoenix, that's amazing! You know, it's really quite the opposite of that. You know, Phoenix, you know, they're okay, they can lift a couple of key units up here and there. If the Hydra count is high enough, maybe they don't even get that done. So you don't really want to end up with too many Phoenix left over. And even if the Mutas go down, he's killed off a few Phoenix as well, so again, these Mutas are getting the job done so far. 12,600 to 10,000 resources lost. We'll see how that changes now that the Phoenix are actually just going to dive for the Mutas and finish them off here. And they are mostly going to finish them off. There's a few Mutas left over. Okay, so it's going to even up the resources lost quite heavily. And DnS has been quite healthy on 4 bases in this time. It's not like the Mutas have contained him on 3 bases, which can sometimes happen. So that's one way to look at this. More Lings, Hydras, and Lurkers coming down towards the center of the map. Lurkers and Hydras just gathering in the middle here. War Prism loads up a couple of Archons. So 2 Archons going to be dropping down, 7 more Banes on the way up, plus 1 air weapons here as well. Some more Zerglings going to be going back up towards the upper left-hand side. Full surround on that Zealot. Now just going to be seeing those Archons still coming back in to clean that up. Those Lings going down. Nicely done. A lot of Corruptors here. Lurkers, Hydras, Banes as well. Everything just gathering together and getting ready to maybe take a fight. Because DnS is looking for the fight. Army supply for Bly is plummeted, by the way, in the last few moments. We were talking about resources lost. It's even. That's just because DnS, I guess, didn't lose too much in the last few moments. Look how many Archons he has. Well, Broodlords start to morph in. And DnS does the DnS win condition. He is going to throw down 3 carriers. And he's going to start building that carrier count. And this is, again, when DnS gets his carriers up, he wins games. War Prism gets sniped there, blown into the distance by the Hydras. He's pushing into the south side. I mean, that's actually a great use of the Phoenix, lifting up a couple of Lurkers, stopping them from being burrowed. And something that Phoenix were used for right at the start of Legacy of the Void. The go-to build back then was double Stargate into double Robo. And your Phoenix would be able to kind of lift up a lot of Lurkers into the mid-game and allow for the double Robo Immortals to then clean up the Lurker count. And it's a very standard way of playing, and DnS kind of using the Phoenix in a similar way right now when Lurkers are one of his bigger issues, although these Broodlords are a bigger issue, especially if he starts killing his High Templar, and there's 1 and 2 High Templar going down, the 3rd one taking damage. DnS has to turn a fight there at some point. Can't just run forever. Lurkers, Hydras, Broods all setting themselves up. The Broodlings drop down. They don't really find anything just yet. Phoenix are going to fly forwards, but there's Hydras here. DnS's supply is now dropping itself. And we are going to be seeing DnS is on full-on retreat mode. Recall? Maybe? Do you recall? Can you recall in time without losing too much? A storm to ward this army off? It's almost like trying to find the perfect moment to kind of like, when do you recall? And it's going to be now. 1 Archon, 2 Archons. I guess that was probably about as good as it was going to be. He gets as far away as possible. The Immortals on the south side are trying to get something done, but they're just getting shut down by Hydras for the most part. So even these Immortals are not finding themselves much luck. DnS is now going to be under attack as Broodlords siege up the 3rd base. And again, DnS has been limited to 4 bases. We talked about not being contained on 3 base, and that was good, you know, that was nice. But now the mutants have gone, and DnS has still not made it off of 4 bases. This is a little bit more concerning. Again, these Broodlings are going to continue to pick their way through the pylons, and we are going to be seeing these few Lurkers continue to move around here. Broodlords continue to come up to the top side. We do see the Phoenix actually come in because there's no protection for the Broodlords at the moment. So, I mean, obviously Phoenix don't kill Broodlords very quickly, but it's something. Now DnS, again, this wasn't pretty for him the last couple of moments, but he is getting to that stage of the game where his carriers are coming up, and we know how DnS can do once he has carriers. Is there some anti-carrier here for, well, for Bly? He's got a couple of Vipers. I like that. We haven't really seen enough Vipers today. 7 Corruptors, 13 Hydras. I kind of feel like no, actually. I don't feel like that's enough just yet. Let's see how the fight goes. A couple of Storms are obviously going to be very influential here, already hitting onto a few of the Corruptors. Hydras are so important in this fight as well. A couple of Phoenix are just going to tank some shots. The more that gets tanked, the better. Issue is these units can't continue forwards because of the Lurkers underneath there. There's going to be an abduct on one of the carriers. That's a nice kill, but both Vipers went down, so no further abducts. DnS has to back away. Army supplies are closing in, but Bly has money in the bank to still play with. He can rebuild here if he wants to. He can get a little bit more done. Lings on the right-hand side. That's not going to be a massive issue. This is base on the left that he's still trying to protect at the moment. Trying to bring his High Templar closer enough forwards without being killed by Lurkers to actually come and get some useful Storms down. These Broodlords take some damage, but now he has to turn and fight Corruptors as they come into the fight. Nice micro from DnS. Back and forth. Very patient micro. Knowing that time is probably his friend in a fight like this. Knowing that over time, he can take a better fight if he gives himself the time to. What's that? The mothership just arriving. I just don't know if DnS has what he needs to support it on the ground. Lurkers, Corruptors, Broodlords all setting themselves up together. We are going to be seeing a whole bunch of Interceptors running forwards. Broodlords getting taken down. I mean, that's great and all, but he needs to be able to get rid of the anti-air. Because if the carriers die, that's the big issue, right? I mean, killing the Broodlords is great, but the Broodlords weren't the counter to the strong part of DnS's army at the moment. But still, it's something he gets rid of, and having no Broodlords means that these Archons can get under the Corruptors a bit more easily, or it forces Broodlords to be made again, which gets rid of a few more Corruptors, so it does have still a big benefit, don't get me wrong. It's just not game-ending for Bly in that sort of regard. It's not like, oh my god, no Broodlord's getting JJ, DnS has held and somehow clutches it out. It's not there just yet. I mean, army supplies are still even, though. This game is still within reason for either player. Income advantage is Bly's. And his army size is very similar. DnS makes a move that we've seen from him before today against Namshar, which is this push kind of down here, but he's going to get countered. Oh my god, that's 2 free corrupt carriers. I keep saying corrupt carriers instead of corruptors today. Corruptors instead of carriers. I did it again. This was DnS going a little bit too deep without the proper protection. And that is, I mean, devastating. These Archons weren't near enough to protect, and now the mothership goes down to an absolute disaster striking at the moment. Hydras on the top side of the map are going to be able to get themselves the rest of these units, and wow, I really didn't think DnS was this dead, but when he made that move, that overcommitment in 2 of this best of 3, DnS looking to avoid dropping down to that lower bracket. Bly looking to qualify himself for the WCS EU Challenger. To the bottom left, the red Zerg player. This is Bly. And to the upper right hand side, the blue Protoss player from Cascade is DnS. Alrighty then, guys. Alrighty. Thank you so much everyone who subscribed today. We have had an insane push towards 300 subs once again, which is awesome. We are 22 subs away from 300, which again is really crazy because we started the day like 55 subs away. So thank you so much to everyone who's been kind and subbing and sub-gifting today. It's been an awesome stream so far. Don't forget though that if you do enjoy the content, obviously you can support through subscribing and all of that good stuff. But most importantly, just hit that follow button. Spread the word about the fact we're live, the cast that we're casting. Just let your friends know, just spread the word. Post stuff to our StarCraft. Not just for my stream, for everyone's stream that you watch and you enjoy, because it really is one of the most powerful ways to support streamers without actually costing you anything apart from a little bit of your time. Obviously, you don't have to, but it's if you ever think, what else can I do to support? It's definitely one of the things you can do. Just talk about people's stream more. Promote it somewhere. Spread the word. We can't do it ourselves all of the time. So, let's keep that in mind. Obviously, another thing you can do for free is hitting that follow button. Always fun to do. Wardy, can we get the Stefano match? Who does Stefano play? Give me a moment, let me refresh a bracket. I'll tell you what, we probably can at least get into it. Stefano versus Rail. I can probably get you guys some coverage from that, but not full coverage, because I want to finish up this series, of course. But I can definitely get it on my second stream. I've asked Stefano for an invite. So, hopefully we get that roll on here in a couple of moments' time. Probe moving around as we see this Overlord is on the way up towards the upper right-hand side, and Adept being chrono boosted out. Next is on the way down on the natural expansion, and I mean just the Stargate on the way through here. First 2.5 minutes looks like a PvZ. Who would have thought it in the PvZ matchup? Insanity, I know. As we do see this probe going to be backing away up towards the upper right-hand side, so heading back home. Seeing what will happen next. Just going to try and find myself the other game, other player that I want to message. There you go. Perfect. Alright, so we're just going to be coming up towards the upper right, and we're going to see some probes pulling in to fight against a couple of those lings. The Adept will start a fight here. One ling goes down, a second ling will go down as well. So a couple of lings getting picked off, and we are going to be seeing again the ling speed coming through. It's going to be finishing in a moment or so. So yeah, guys, I'll get into the Stefano game on my second PC to give you guys some updates from that. We'll see what we get into on the main screen after this series. It kind of depends how long this series takes, obviously, and what's starting around then. So try and keep you guys up to date and let you guys know what's up. What's crazy is we casted Snoot's last series, which was Snoot versus Mana, and that was an eternity ago. And Snoot has not played since then. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyways, we do see a couple of gateways on the way down from DnS. We see the Oracle is coming up, and 3 more gates on the way down. What's further tech here? There isn't any, so there's quite a lot of gates just to go onto a kind of a start, you know, just with the Stargate. I guess it's one of those builds where I'm probably looking towards a Twilight for the Temple Archives and the Charge. And we'll see maybe how that goes very soon as well. As we do see this Oracle moving around, looking to see what might go where. And looking to see what's happening. So again, 2 Oracles going down towards the lower right. You know, just gonna having this Phoenix is just working its way through that Overlord. I mean, again, little bits and pieces of damage at the moment. I'm just going to be seeing the 2 Oracles down to the south side. And, yeah, looking to see what else is happening. Just taking this game a little bit easy on my voice as well, guys. I need a moment or two to just breathe a little bit. God, we've been talking a lot today. That 2-hour stretch we did when we had that super long game was quite the tester. As you see this queen being lifted up. Few drones going down here and there. Again, the Oracle's dealing some little bits and pieces of damage, and again, it's just a few drones here and there so far. So Forger, Twilight Council still coming down. I mean, that's what we sort of expected here along the way. We're just going to be seeing that charge coming up as well. +1 attack also starting to come on through. So I mean, just speaking using the Twilight Council and the Forge, I suppose, very obvious stuff. And yeah, still just seeing these few Oracles moving around the center. Immortal is on the way up. Temple Archives is dropping down in the main base as well. So Temple Archives dropping in the main. And we are going to be seeing this Phoenix is tapping away on that Overlord. And, yeah, little bits and pieces of damage slowly but surely being done here. By the way, I was just a little bit distracted there for a moment or two as well, because I was just sorting out the second PC game. Stefano and Rail aren't starting just yet, so instead I jumped into Snoot and Hellraiser to bring you guys a little bit of side-by-side action to kind of be able to jump into something after this or so. Just so we can bring in some updates. We haven't done that for a little while because it's been a bit hectic, but just sorted that out, and we're into the Snoot Hellraiser game now instead. And I said Stefano, but the Stefano game wasn't quite starting, so apologies for that. Again, open qualifiers, things going on all over the place. I'm sure the Stefano match will have a caster in it. As you see, the Lings and Hydras coming back in towards the upper right, some Zealots and Immortals, yeah, able to kind of pick their way against a few of those Zerglings. A couple of shield batteries on the way up, and Archon popping in, and again, just going to be seeing Lings and Hydras. Then ready to go. Revelation goes down, and we're just going to be seeing, again, just another few kind of warpins here at the moment. Groove Spines is on the way up, a Lurker Den on the way down. Hydras here are kind of picking their way through a gateway or two, and, well, it's very aggressive from Bly. I mean, his Lurker Den isn't close to finishing right, so he's not looking to take this into a Lurker attack, but the Lings into the main, that could be deadly. DnS has to respond to that ASAP, and his response for now is to pull probes, so he doesn't have a warp-in available. Only 4 workers lost so far. Let's see how well he can minimize this damage, but oh god, 15 workers. A couple of Hydras in the third base are just getting so much done. Feels like DnS is falling completely apart right now. Just pushing forwards, these Hydralists are just killing off everything, and Bly with this Ling Hydra attack has just, wow, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, 26 workers killed just out of nowhere almost. The Lings sneak in, a couple of mistakes, and DnS has just been completely obliterated in this game too. Yes, the game's not over, but 27 workers? Okay, Bly was very aggressive here. Yes, he committed a lot to it. Yes, he has no upgrades. But now all of a sudden you bring some Lurkers into play, and does DnS have an army to fight this? I guess it's possible. Bly is a lot more committed than I maybe initially thought. Again, no upgrades, Lurker about to finish, only 50 drones. So he's actually only 3 workers ahead despite the damage dealt you already, which is insane. As we are going to be seeing those Lings and Hydras kind of moving around. Force Field's good. That's a good fight for DnS. Those Hydras can't become Lurkers if they're dead, and they are going to be down in the next couple of moments. 4 more probes going down, sure, but that's an expensive 4 to 5 probes that DnS has just that Bly has just killed. That's painful. That's really painful, as we're going to be seeing those lings coming in from the right-hand side. And we are going to be seeing those probes pulling away again. Nice defense here by DnS. That's the sort of defense he needs to stay alive in this. Game number 2 in the qualifying match. Absolutely crazy. Alright, well, we are just going to be seeing these few extra units coming through the center, starting to clean up some of the creep spread. Another few Zealots and Archon morphing in. Just going to be seeing a few Hydras around the right-hand side of the map, and as we see the 4th base on the way up from Bly, that's about to finish up. 5 more Lurkers also on the way, 26 Zerglings, an Evolution Chamber building. All of these are big, big plays right now, as we do see the Phoenix leading the charge, the brave Phoenix. As we're going to be seeing, ooh, the Hydra's picking that Phoenix off, though. He was so brave, he died instantly. He died for his bros. We're going to be seeing the... well, Archon's just pushing forwards right now. We're going to be seeing Lings and Hydras trying to push in. Well, Prism and Sieges. We're just going to be seeing the Zealots, Archons, and Immortals pushing on forwards. We're going to be seeing these Lurkers. Are going to start going down. Oh, this is a messy one. Only 2 Lurkers left. Sorry, 1 Lurker left. Oh, that's engageable. Oh, but he doesn't have detection, so you can't actually see that last Lurker, but it's going to kill everything so slowly across the map. A couple of Lurkers do get into the action, and they do get some worker kills. Bly losing a 3rd base is deadly, though. I mean, that's a lot of damage taken. Damage that's very hard to recover from, losing an entire base. 4th base isn't really mining just yet. So let's block that Lurker from getting into the natural. So DnS holds off over here. Wow. DnS with a big turnaround in this game. I really thought when those Lings came in and killed so many workers that he was in trouble. But it was such a different scenario than what I thought. I just didn't realize how aggressive Bly was going to be. I didn't realize he was going to be this aggressive. That's really... Or not this aggressive, but I didn't realize he was that committed to the attack. It's crazy that he got so much damage done and it wasn't enough. As right now we do see these, well, there's Spore Crawler burrowing. Another Lurker about to finish up to the right-hand side. The Hydras are going to push up in towards the 3rd base. So that's what's coming over to the right-hand side here. These rocks going to get taken down. Another couple of High Templar on the way up, and again access given to now allow these units to push on in, and they are going to be able to just get rid of so much more here. I mean, this 4th base now under attack, and that's essentially the final base of Bly that's really going to be useful beyond the natural. At the same time, the 3rd base of the Pros player is in also some trouble. Last probe over here going down. There's a Lurker to help out. The problem is I don't see how Bly survives at home. Ooh, he recalls. I guess he survives at home by not actually taking a fight. Recall on here, that Lurker goes down, the Hydras go down. It's 7 probes lost. Worker count is pretty even. Slight lead for Bly, but DnS keeps the 3rd base alive against a 2-base Zerg. And as Tasteless would say, as I was mentioned earlier, being a base behind a Zerg player is just not something you can do here in the ZVP. And it's really true, I mean, at this sort of stage especially, because not just as 2 bases less economy, it's less production. You're missing, you know, you don't have 3 bases of injects. You know, I guess you don't really have the money to kind of build off of 3 bases, but it's just an extra little something that's really going to hurt you along the way as we see these Archons picking off a couple of creep tumors and obviously just continue to clean things up. Zerglings coming around the top side. More Hydras and Lurkers from Bly on the bottom left, and we are going to be seeing the Lings from Bly just trying to run by again, trying to find openings, but there's just units everywhere now that he needs there to be to defend. Somehow these probes, though, don't get the memo that it's dangerous to transfer at the wrong timing, and they do end up losing a few, but DnS is in control, and he's going to come in to kill the 3rd base yet again. As the 3rd base goes down, we've seen a couple of assimilators, extractors again taken out too. Again, DnS playing slow and steady, not rushing into a fight which involves Lurkers down a ramp. That's one way you can definitely throw this game still. So just playing it safely in that regard as DnS sets up here towards the center. Lings pick off a Zealot, a Lurker coming up this side as well. 6 more High Templar on the way out, +2 attack on the Forge. All of these just upgrades, which are going to be able to give DnS or upgrades and additions, which are just going to solidify DnS's position. It would be nice to get rid of this Lurker. Cannon will obviously do the job here in a moment or two. If it survives the Lurker shots, oh my god. I believe in you, Cannon! Oh my god, only just gets there in time. Lurker goes down. The big fight actually happened while we were looking at that. Apologies for missing it, but it kind of looks like it went somewhat as expected. I guess DnS doesn't have much on the leftovers here, but He obviously has a lot of reinforcements available. Big Warpin, he has Archons over here he could bring across the map. There just isn't going to be enough from Bly to really shut this down, to really continue onwards at this stage. Full surround the hatchery. It's taking a lot of damage here, and that Overseer is low. It doesn't go down yet. I mean, the Overseer, I guess the biggest issue is if you lose the Observer, but it's not really a game or a scenario where losing the Observer matters because there's no Lurkers anymore. There's those Archons we were talking about just previously. Another round of Zealots, GG, and we're going to a third and final game here between Bly. Updated with that, maybe some snippets if something exciting is happening. For now, it's this PvZ, and there is something exciting here at the start, just to the top left-hand side. Our red Zerg player is Bly. Bottom right is going to be the Blue Protoss from Cascade, which is DnS. 1-1, and obviously the issue currently for DnS is that Bly is building a hatchery over here. Now this is free hatch before pool to be able to block this. But what I love about DNS's follow-up is just the second gateway of Cybercore, and it really feels like he's just going to get the units out to push across the map and to get something done about it. So let's see how this is going to get rolling here in the next couple of moments. Now we're going to have this Zealot just swiping away. Zealot's now swiping away. Obviously, a cancel into an Evo Chamber is the ideal scenario here for Bly to block this as long as possible. There it is, just the Evo Chamber will buy a little bit more time. The Adept should go across the map to get some damage done. Bly builds an Evo Chamber. Ling's on the way up to start getting ready to defend, which is going to be necessary very soon. There's that drone, is still alive. Don't want to let that build another hatchery, and he is not going to let that happen. Adepts will even shade to block it. Oh my god, that was clutch. That could have been so bad for him there. As we're going to be seeing a couple of Adepts will make their way towards the upper left-hand side to see and see what's going to happen. So a couple of Adepts just shading on forwards. We do see a drone off over to the right-hand side towards the third hatch. I'm just going to be seeing Ling's gathering up. I mean, Bly's just going to look to Ling flood this. Yes, there's an Evo Chamber that was built over there. Am I dumb? Did I see the Evo Chamber going down? It was just this one here. After I mentioned it was going to happen. I think I am. I think I'm a bit tired. Let me Ling speed coming up. There's so many Zerglings. I mean, there's no way Bly can possibly think he's at an advantage in this. There's 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts he either has to fight against with no Ling speed. I mean, he's going to lose his first hatch, or he's going to lose a lot of Zerglings. I mean, this has just not worked out. That hatchery block is, okay, it slowed down the Protoss Nexus, but it slowed down so much of Bly that I'm really kind of worried for him. That hatchery has to be cancelled. There's no two ways about it. Adepts are going to try and get in position. It's not quite going to be in time, so full surround is very good here, of course. And that is going to be a nice little shutdown on all of these units. So the drone can get back to the third. That's going to be huge. That's really important right there. As the third hatchery comes back down. And a few Lings running around the right-hand side. So a few Lings are going to come across the map now, but an Oracle is already out and into the natural mineral line, and Bly just has 2 Queens, but not in the best position, which means immediately 4 workers go down so quickly, and that is already very painful. So already 4 workers dropping. Alair is on its way up now in this main base. A few Zerglings continuing over to the left-hand side. Twilight Council from DnS is going to be finishing up very shortly, as this Oracle is going to be coming through, and is going to be... well, I mean, it's the second Oracle, right? So when you join up with the first, you become that much more powerful. You can't start to one-shot the workers. You can kind of get rid of a bunch of workers very quickly without really taking damage. And that's what's starting to happen right now for DnS. Getting that set up, set and ready to go. What's up, Terranine? Coming in with the sub, by the way, just before these Oracles get into action. Thank you so much for the subscription. How you doing, mate? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the support. Oracles will pop in, and that's 1, 2, 3 workers immediately. Not a lot. I mean, it's not tons of workers, but it's a little something that continues to get worked away at here. You're all going to be seeing Temple Archives and a Robo Facility. You've seen those Oracles continuing down the left side again. A few drones going down. Nidus Network on the way up from Bly, so that's his aggressive kind of choice here. So this game is very likely to end in the next couple of minutes. Either this Nidus is going to win the game or it won't. Oh, War Prism initially isn't going to be good, obviously. An Immortal would be so much better to help fight the Nidus Network. DnS hasn't seen it. He saw the lair, but that's all he's seen. That Nidus network as a possibility isn't maybe something that hits him in his, you know, that he realizes just yet. Overseer coming towards the main. He has very good vision though, so you will see the Nidus network coming down. Warp Prism will pop out. He needs to not send his units across, right? He needs to bring his units back ASAP. Well, let's see. It's a lot of roaches. There's the Nidus. DnS will see this now, and it will be his decision as to how he wants to deal with it. If he sees it, I don't think he does, honestly. I mean, he's not doing it. He pulls back to deal with the Lings, but this Nidus pops up in the main. There's no response just yet. Now he starts a shield battery. Now he starts extra pylons. Very late, though. 2 Archons on the way. An Immortal being chrono boosted. Good thing is this Robo is on the low ground, so while he might lose the Temple Archives and Archon production, at least the Robo facility will come up here as this pylon may go down, but the warp gates just aren't going to get the power to actually warp in. Small shame there. Probes starting to drop. The charge might be able to finish up at least. A few probes going down. Oracles here to maybe join in a little bit later on. The Prism for Micro will actually be a very important part of this right now, but there's a lot of roaches as Bly looks to see what he can do. Oh, I don't know if Bly's just got a bit too much. The Oracles have gone down. DnS just didn't have a response immediately to the Nidus network. Didn't pull units towards it or anything. Nothing to try and slow it down. And just no realization that this was happening. His units continue to drop. The one Immortal on the low ground's cool and all, but I'm not sure why Bly doesn't go after the the Robo facility over here. 2 Immortals actually going to get a pretty good trade-off in that scenario. Well, I mean, I guess filling off the main base is still going to keep you in a strong position, right? So, yes, that's the idea right now. Zelda's a charge come on forwards. DnS tries to make this defense happen. He's got the 2 Immortals and an Archon to Micro in the Prism. Can he make it happen? Is it a reality? Is it a possibility at the moment? It's going to be difficult. 2 more probes going down. Again, Roaches and Queens are fighting where they can. The Twilight Council is just going to go down as well. It's another something that DnS is not going to have moving on in this game. I think the same can be said about these gateways and this Nexus very shortly. Roaches continue to pour on out here. The Immortals need to be saved. Micro has to be on point here. The force fields, they're pretty good force fields. It's just he's fighting an impossible fight, it feels like. Sentries go down. There's only room in the Prism for the Immortals with the Micro here at the moment. And Bly is going to take this, isn't he? He's going to qualify himself for the WCS Challenger through the first opportunity he has. Drops 1 map in his entire run. Took him 7.5 hours, but through no fault of his own. Warp Prism goes down. Goodbye Micro Potential. Goodbye Immortals. Or at least soon enough. And yes, those Immortals are still strong against the Roaches, don't get me wrong, but suddenly there's Lings in the mineral line over here. I mean, he just comes back in towards the main base. He just plays the creep spread. He plays it slowly. It's the safe way to play it. Suddenly, Lings are here to help. They tank some of their shots. They get themselves a surround. Stops the Immortals kiting at points as well. I don't agree with him targeting down a gateway instead of the Immortals. I do think turning around and fighting the Immortals would be a better choice, as DnS is going to fall down to that losers bracket. The Immortals keep on dropping here. The barriers are disappearing. And as the barriers disappear, the Immortals go down. This is pretty much all she wrote for DnS in game number 3. GG's, and that's going to be Bly taking the series, taking the qualifier.